Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 57th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I am your host, Katie M. Kane. Our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you might know him as TJ Regalado, aka Cholo, aka George Lopez, but better known as True Justice. In the building tonight for Concerned Dabs podcast. Are you with us, True Justice? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Glad to be here, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt. We're happy to have you. I've been jamming the album for the past week or two in the car. I got both discs in the changer.
Oh yeah.
Very, very impressed. I talked to you on I think Wednesday. We did a practice call before you went to work, and I don't want to repeat too much of that. But dude, I just got to tell you once we're on the air also that I'm impressed, dude.
I appreciate
I I'm an artist myself, and I'm kind of a tough critic. I'm a songwriter, and it's like the bars are one thing, but can you make a whole song, and then can you make a whole album? And you can do both very well. And I was really expecting some hardcore gangster shit, and it's hard, but it's real life, dude. Like there's so much emotion and range and spectrum on life in general. So um, I got to give you props on that before we get too deep into this, man. You got a fan, TJ, so rock on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I guess my first question, um we can, do 10, 15 to pump up the album too, but I just kind of it's my first time really sitting down and talking to you and meeting you, man. And from a fan point of view, I would just like to start from the beginning. If these questions sound rhetorical and they asked you on other podcasts, then I'm sorry for not having more original, but I want to know too, and I would like to share with my listeners.
Yes.
So, like, how did you get started into making music? Like, were you originally have ambitions of rapping? Like, what's the scenario? How young were you? And who there's all different kinds of people who introduce you, and so it's like, can you tell a little bit of an origin story for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I actually was not planning to be a rapper. I started writing when I was 11. I was actually starting to write poetry because I was a little sap in love with a girl. and
Dude, same, bro, same. That's how I started. I was trying to write a rap to a girl, bro. Same.
and it just kind of took off from there. I couldn't sing, so I started rapping, and just by 14, I think I recorded my first song, and by 17, I was working with a little independent label, traveling a little bit, and then 19, I was back in Spokane. Um, kind of took a little time off and got back into it. Just kind of took off from there. Dropped about 12 mixtapes, and then Ambivalence. Here's my second official album.
No doubt. So, like, what was the independent label you were working with back then?
They were called Diverse Records. It was out in Wisconsin. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I met this
Dude,
producer.
like, yeah, dude, can you talk about that in as much detail as you can? Like, they gave you a budget and shit too. Like, man, like talk about that, bro.
Yeah, so I went out to Wisconsin and met this guy at a wedding. Um, my sister-in-law had known a producer, so she wanted us to link up. So I met him. He invited me out for a smoke by his car, and then he asked me to spit for him. So I uh, I just dropped a little rap, and he was impressed. So he's like, "All right, we got to get you in the studio." And before I knew it, I was living with the guy, and
Hell yeah, man.
so it was nice. We were doing a lot of shows. His mom was basically funding um, the whole record label. So she was had connections. She ran a limo company, so we had that nice little perk of being able to show up to shows and like that.
Hell yeah, pulling up fresh,
Yeah.
man.
And then she
Yeah.
got us on some good shows. We got to open for like Ti and Lil Wayne and Tech Nine out in Milwaukee, things like that. And
Fuck yeah, dude.
and Yeah, just kind of all went to shit. He got a little too greedy. He hit me with a contract, and he
Uh-huh.
wanted 95% of all my creative work and just everything. And I was like, I'm not signing.
No.
So he was like, okay, well, where are you going to live then? And I was like, oh, it's like that. Okay. All right. Well,
Damn.
good luck without me. And I went and stayed in one of my homegirls out there had a camper by her house, at her parents' house. And they let me crash in it till I was able to get back home. So,
Damn. Yeah, fuck, that sucks too, man, to be so far from home and get kinda stuck in a situation like that too. It's like, cause like, man, no matter what, if we're friends, we're friends. It's like,
yeah,
okay, you wanna do this deal, then that's cool, like,
yeah,
chill out till you can make it back, man, like,
he definitely
we're
did.
not gonna work together. Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah. But it was a.
Um,
I needed that real life look into what the music game was really like, and that's what it is. Full of a bunch of snakes and manipulators and
yeah,
people trying to use you.
yes. And people that think there's, like, a lot more money in the content than there actually is, you know what I mean? I'm like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
I'm like, "If you don't enjoy doing it, then fuck, you're not gonna make $1,000,000 off me,
yeah,
I wish, you know, like, shit, I wish signing to you would get me to that goal, but it's not, dude, like, you're just asking it's like, fuck.
yeah, yeah. It was ridiculous, and we had a good amount of people on the label, and they all signed, but I haven't heard of or from any of them since. So I guess I made the right choice.
No doubt, dude, Tyrant, I get a lot of my music industry stuff from him, and I remember these artists he was working with called Moonshine Bandits were trying to a label was trying to sign them, and they had stipulations that and it just stalled, you know what I mean? Like, they went back and forth 2 or 3 times, and then
Yeah,
their attorney was just like, they're not gonna give you what you want, and we're not gonna give them what they want, so we might as well just leave it alone and quit going back and forth." So they did, but I guess, like, 9 months later, they got what they wanted. They called them back, like, 9 months later and gave 'em, like, a 2-album deal, but that's anybody, like, who's an independent artist, that's the only thing I could tell them is, like, "Dude, if you're down to do that, don't only do it for an album or 2." You know
yeah,
what I mean? Make sure the terms are specific and you understand that you're gonna take a hit on ownership and sales in order to get pushed and a little bit of, more plugs,
yeah,
through this avenue, and a lot of times it's not worth it, you know what I mean? Most times I'll tell kids like, "Fuck, just do it yourself, dude. You got however many followers online, like,
yeah,
they're not gonna holler at you until you're making money anyway, so why would you wanna give half to, somebody
yeah,
who's not gonna make that pie bigger, you know? So,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's a rough.
yeah,
We gotta. The youngsters these days have it way different than we did. That's for sure. But I wish they
way, man.
how difficult it really is. It's not just about blowing up on a YouTube video or a TikTok thing these days. It's a lot of hard work in.
Yeah, it is, dude. I see you post about that sometimes online too, about how it was a lot more like, I wouldn't like, 10 years ago, I wouldn't do a feature for anybody unless I knew they were gonna print up 1,000 CDs,
Yeah,
and it's like, and if I knew they weren't, then it was like I wanted to charge them 200 bucks, you
yeah,
know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, "Nah, bro, you're gonna put it out, like, fuck, I'll jump on that shit." Yeah,
yeah,
and it was, you have your little interview questions, to ask people, but it just I wanted people who were serious, and nowadays, it's like, you don't have to be too serious about it at all, just throw something out there, and it could generate a shit
yeah,
ton of views.
yeah. No,
I
it's
was
easy.
Yeah,
Well, it's
I
easy to.
was, it's easy to yeah, well, I was hanging out with my cousin Rolo yesterday, and he's, maybe not 10 years younger than me, maybe 6 or 7, and, uh, I was telling him about that interview with J. Cole and Lil Pump,
Mm,
and it's so good. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like J. Cole, like, just asked him, he's like, "So how did you blow up?" And he's like, "I did a YouTube video with freestyle and
yeah.
bam."
Poof.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And J. Cole's like, "Dude, like, I went to college in New York. Like, I got a scholarship and went to school there on purpose because I knew I was gonna be around industry people, and I wrote and I recorded and I worked so hard and I finally met people and and meets Jay-Z, signs to Rock," and it's just like that story is so much more fucking interesting and entertaining to me, dude, you know, than
Yeah.
and I don't know, dude. I try not to be a hater, you know, but I don't dig Lil Pump's music, and it
I
is. It's
I don't
like
think I've
there's
heard of him before.
it's the, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang.
Okay,
I
my
it
son's
was
probably heard that song
it
before.
wa it was on the radio in Portland, dude, right before I moved to Phoenix, and I kept, like, sitting there waiting for a verse, bro,
Yeah.
and there's not. That's the whole song, dude, for, like, 2 minutes, you know what I mean? And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
What?" It was weird, man, like, and so, I don't know, dude, like, it's a breath of fresh air to have a new CD in my hand that dropped this month that's good, that I wanna listen to, that there's actual songs and you know what I mean? So there's still people making good shit, TJ. We just gotta find it and promote it, you know?
Yeah, that's why I always hate hearing people say, hip hop's dead, and it's not dead, it's just, harder to find. It's
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of, people kinda get discouraged too with the monetary, return, you
yeah,
know? Like, they feel like it should pay out when it's like, I feel the same way, but fuck, keep doing it, man,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you got to, and you gotta be doing it for the right reason. If you're looking for it for the quick payout, like you said, it's probably not for you.
I agree, man. I agree. So, what how does this story continue after you left Wisconsin, man? Like, when you came back to Spokane, like, how old were you, and how did you regroup, man? Like,
So
'cause I
yeah,
there's periods in life too where you can't touch music. Either you didn't have the money or the resources, you know what I mean? So
yeah. And so when I got back, I was pretty discouraged and just kind of done with the game and trying to figure some things out. So I was with my grandparents out in the trailer, and I don't even remember if I was at a show or what, but I ended up meeting a couple guys, and they connected me with this young producer who was going to school out here in Spokane, who had a studio in his apartment down in Browns Edition. And
okay, West Side, West Side.
so I started. I was hoofing it all over town at the time. I didn't have a car, so I was walking from across the bridge all the way to Browns Edition, where I'd get dropped off, and then I'd walk back across the bridge. I would record for like 8 hours at a spot and walk back across the bridge to go crash in my homie's house on his couch or something, and then was putting out, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 songs a night for a while. So then I put together a mixtape and got it released and printed up, and kind of started making more connections that way. Ended up connecting with On One, which was a big game changer for me.
Yeah, that guy, he's really my friend, and he's really a good writer, and, yeah, dude, like, he did, like, I wouldn't have met you or connected with you without that guy either, so,
Yeah, I definitely owe him a
like,
lot. Sure.
yeah. So what happened after that, man? You guys started working on stuff together, or, like, what keep going,
Yes.
man, I'm sorry for interrupting, TJ, man, chill, Kane, I'm not done yet, Kane, like, yeah.
No, I got you. So I finished this project called Another Rose in the Concrete, and was kind of just pushing that around, and then my homeboy Paul, Big P out here, he actually got me. We were doing some songs together. We were on our way to do a hip hop for hunger show, and he said we got to stop by my boy On One's house, and I was like, oh shit, the On One, and he's like, yeah, and I was like, okay. So we swung by, and he was supposed to be on the show too, but he had to back out last minute. So we chopped it up a little bit. I guess he really liked the song on the project, so we linked up probably through social media at first, and started putting Eat Breathe Live together.
Word.
Yeah, then we started doing show. I mean, we fucked around and did that song "The Lotion," and people just went nuts for it. So we did that at a lot of shows, and yeah,
Yeah, dude, like, I remember him hitting me up when I was in Portland in, like, 2011 and just like, "Man, do you have any songs?" And I'm like, "I got this Miyagi song," you know what I mean? And then he put it on the CD, so I was just like, "Fuck, thanks, man," 'cause it just, Me and my buddy Jackson were really proud of that weed song too. It was just like, at that time,
Yeah.
Tyrant had his itty bitty beat club, and we won the contest that month to win that beat for free. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
like, yeah, and they got to put it on something, so it meant a lot to us, you know.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, Tyrant's a beast. I never met him,
Yeah,
but his beats, I've heard quite a bit of his beats.
yeah, dude, he's more on that country rap type stuff lately,
Yeah,
which I can't be mad because those guys pay, you know, top dollar for that production, and but it's just like, man, I'd like to pull him in a different direction when I get time to sit down, you know?
yeah,
'Cause otherwise, if I just get something that he made, that's how it sounds is
yeah,
kinda, you know, kinda and, you know, and it's like, that's fine, like but it just I'm more on my rock and roll
yeah.
stuff lately, so
Uh,
that's the tip I've been on. And then On One too, I just wanted to share one more story about On One is, like, I met him at a Yuck Mouth show, and it was cool, like, that was the first time meeting, but the first time I recorded with him, we were in Craziness's basement out there in Brown's Addition, um and we were recording the Katie Kane mixtape volume 1, and so, anybody who was in the you know, the little crew is like, "Come through and do a song," and when On One came through, he had all of his lyrics on plain white pieces of paper typed up and printed,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like each verse, you know, and I was just like the rest of us had our little notebooks with pen, and I was just like, "Dude," like, he was that serious about, you know,
yeah. He's
punk
interesting.
punk
Yeah,
yeah, he was, dude, like, breath control and everything, like, it just was. It was impressive to me how technical he was even back then when I first got in the studio with him, so if he's listening, man, like, shout out to On One, dude, you're talented, bro.
yeah.
So,
Hell yeah. He better be listening.
yeah, man. Yeah, man, I hope so too, man, like, I always try to tune in for his stuff too, like, that beat battle that he did, like,
Oh yeah,
I was like, "Fuck, that was pretty cool."
yeah.
And I was thinking it was you at first, I was talking I was like, "Man, too," it was like and then you were chiming in like, "Ah, that's not me, man." I'm like, "Oh, shit, my bad."
And I was confused. I didn't want to
So,
be all like presumptuous, like I'm the only TJ out there. So I was like,
yeah,
does he think that's me?
yeah,
Is he talking to me? I was like,
yeah, 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 it was all good, man. So, after you linked with On One, like, what was the like, did you just meet more production and stuff after that? Like, when like, I'm trying to continue on with the story. I know I keep interrupting and going to the side here, but,
yeah,
I want you to tell your story too, man.
yeah. Well, somewhere along those lines, Urban Plugs was real big out here with Genghis Black and I think her name was Chelsea before Shanna took over. Um, but they were playing the local hip hop all the time and doing bumper dump station stuff like that. And Genghis was trying to put together like he had like a meeting outside of like the Hop one night, and it was trying to light a fire under all of our asses to start working together and figure our shit out and start building a name for ourselves out here together. And
Yeah,
that's how I met a lot of people. Shows at the Hop, and then Neil. Um, uh, he was a huge part of like everybody's story. I feel like out here at some point, but he was linking people up, getting us on those Knitting Factory shows, and somehow I ended up meeting Moses Beats. I don't even remember how I met him, but man, me and him just started putting in some work, and that's when
that was the guy in the beat battle.
yeah,
That was the guy in the beat battle?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he had some bangers, man.
and he.
Sorry, sorry,
Oh no, you're good.
sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
He was working with a group called Articles of Rhyme at the time, and
okay.
so I was just kind of going over, hanging out with them, chopping it up, and then getting some studio time in. And then the group started to disperse a little bit, and then I just started putting together my Drink and Dry Water album, and we are just banging out some stuff and got it going that way. And then it was right after Drink and Dry Water, I released it. Shortly after that, I just kind of ducked out for a while.
What year was that?
2014,
Okay.
yeah. And then yeah, just kind of went on a different path, trying to get my shit together, figure my life out. And once I figured that it was back on track, then I started getting back to work.
Word. So, What do you mean by like did you have to sit some time then, or you just left music for a while?
No, all my jail stints were done after that time. But I,
Okay, good,
yeah, I
cool.
only had minor shit. I I was just, I was I'll be pretty open here. I was getting into cocaine a little too much.
Okay,
But I still drank, but I had a real bad issue with alcohol at the time, and just I was going nowhere fast, so I needed to figure out what my life was doing because I was bumming off every family member I could or friend I could to keep this music thing going for too long, and it wasn't paying the bills, so I wasn't paying any
y
bills, and I needed to figure some shit out. So I ended up getting a job that really helped direct my purpose a little bit more,
yeah,
and working with
yeah,
the youth downtown and helping them out, and met my wife, got that kind of shit going, and started a family, and yeah, so then found some balance, quit drinking
yeah.
for years, and that really cleared my head and my heart a little bit more to realize what I needed in life and what I didn't need and how to handle different situations differently. So
No doubt, man. I agree. You can hear the growth in the music. Not that I've listened to much of your earlier stuff, but the CD that I've listened to the past couple weeks is grown man shit, dude. It's not no young buck fucking wilding out, fucking dumb shit. It's mature, dude. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know I always joke that I don't make music for parties. I make it for the lonely drive home or drinking by yourself at night.
uh,
It's
dude, that's what the fuck I've been doing, TJ. God damn, man. Hell yeah. That's what's up.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, dude, it's a good CD, and, I also feel when you say that music doesn't pay the bills, like, my last album I put out in 2013, like, my son was born September of 2012. My band broke up December of 2012. My bass player, Chris, shout out to Chris for sending me this Apogee 1 too. It's like I let him borrow it a long time ago, and he sent it back to me this weekend, so I got a preamp to record it. But he stayed with me, and I put out the album in May of 2013, but it's like I had no resources, dude. You know what I mean? Like I had no promo, no marketing. It's like I put it out and I was like, okay, now I got a kid and I need to figure out ways to make money. And I
yeah,
was already doing my cannabis cultivation thing a little bit, but then I discovered a lot more as far as what I was capable of and what was cost effective. So I went hard with that for like 6 or 7 years, dude, and it's cool. Like I'm happy for the effort and energy that I put into it because I can still use those skills to get jobs today, but it was just like competing against $1,000,000 budgets, dude, in that game. It's like to get a rec license, you had to have a quarter million at least, dude, and I'm like talking to all these millionaires trying to solicit a budget of 160,000, and I met with 10 different people who had that loot and wouldn't give it to me.
yeah,
So it would just after a while, it's like my relationship went bad. So I split to Phoenix in 2018, and I'm back up here now, and I got a good healthy relationship now up here. And
yeah,
I'm not trying to get too heavy into the money making aspect of it, but I do really miss the therapeutic part of gardening and saving the money of not going to the store and growing what I want. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And having it fresh and
hell yeah,
so, I'm in a position to do so now, so I'm just thankful for where I'm at too, and, a lot of my music too, people want some party shit from me or some selling dope type shit, and I'm like, "Man, I can talk about it a little bit in a roundabout way, but it's not gonna be a theme song for doing that shit anymore, man. If you want that, you can go and listen to those old songs, you know, like,
yeah. I feel that.
other." Yeah, and it's good to be in a position where responsibilities are taken care of and you can still spend money on your art, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what part of the grown man part for me feels like now. It's like, okay, all my responsibilities are taken care of, and I can actually fund my own projects. Might take a little bit longer, but at least I own it, and it's all me. I do got to do a shout out for my boy. I left him out of the story last time I talked about it too, but my boy Beezy, he helped me a lot when I came back to town. He actually hooked me
Okay.
up with a computer and a microphone because he just swore he believed in me and what I was doing. So my boy Beezy's out in the Boston area. I know he's gonna watch eventually, man. B, appreciate you. So, but
No doubt. That's dope. Is he producer too or what?
no, man, he's just good people. He raps, not a full time or anything, but he's just really a big supporter. That's for sure. I think he's more in like the management aspect or trying to promote for people. But yeah,
Yeah, dude, like I honestly, TJ, like I love doing my art and I want to remain an artist also, but I'm just as time goes by, I'm starting to understand that that role I can wear that hat and help other people out and not have to spend too much time or energy and just it just like even production, bro. Like when I went to that band practice yesterday, I was recording on my phone just trying to capture something that was tied off of what they were jamming with and it's like I was like, "Man, can I bring my computer next time?" And they were like, "Yes." And I was like, "Well," and they were just like, "Dude, we've been needing somebody to do shit like that for 10 years."
yeah,
And I'm just and I'm sitting there and I want riffs from both of my cousins, my cousin Rolo, my cousin Tutlo. I was linking up with both of them, so I'm like, I want riffs from him and I want riffs from him, and, like, from a, like, technological point of view, like, those guys can play. They're musicians like a motherfucker, but they don't have the recording experience that I have to capture themselves and send it to me like I want it,
yeah,
and I just realized that last night. I was just like, "Fuck, I'm sorry, guys." You know what I mean? I have all these fucking requests are like, "Man, send me this, do that," and it's just like, "Fuck." Like, I gotta at least show you guys how to do it on what I'm using and have some trade, you know what I mean? I'll trade you guys, I'll record this shit and mix it and give me some riffs after that, man. You know what I mean? So, it just, it was cool to understand that, fuck, it's not always about me and my art. There's other people that have some cool shit they're working with, and it's ready to go. You just gotta fucking polish it up a little bit, and I would always try and feed people like that to Tyrant, you know what I mean? Because that's my producer homie, and it's like, he's doing his own thing, man, you know what I mean? And, like, I can't be mad at him. I should do my own thing too and try to work with what I got,
yeah,
you know? And it just my cousin gave me a guitar and a amp to practice on, dude, so I'm just, like, super hyped, like, I have everything I need basically for my art for the next year at least, and I'm super hype about it, dude, so but, like, the your homie that's trying to be in management and whatnot, like, I think that, I would like to assume that role a little bit in some capacity for
yeah,
certain homies too, you know what I mean? Because they don't, like, understand how it's cheap. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, as long as you can get it mixed and mastered for pretty cheap, you can record it yourself, you can run it through Lander,
yeah,
but pay somebody good for some graphics so when people see your square,
yeah,
they wanna touch it and listen to it, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to spend for 1,000 CDs anymore.
yeah.
You know?
Different.
Because that shit was expensive. That was like 1,500 bucks,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's crazy. 'Cause I wasn't even gonna do hard copies on this one, and I was like, I had some people, so I was like, all right, well, I'll do a short run and hopefully get rid of them. And but yeah, it's different. I remember because especially going back to on one, he was a CD guy, so like we would
Yeah.
cruise around,
Goddamn right, man.
park up downtown, and hustle CDs, and love those times. But I feel like if we did that now, everybody like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Like, yeah, when I was in Hollywood for that film festival, there was mad guys on the sidewalk out there slanging CDs hand to hand. I was like, "Holy shit," it was like a time warp.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It was like it was like looking into the mirror at myself 10 years ago, you know what I mean? It was like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
Like, it's still happening out here. Like, it was cool, man. Like, a couple of guys got me for $5, man. Like, I couldn't knock the hustle, you know?
yeah,
It was like a reggae guy, and then it was like a R&B guy, so I'm like, "Whatever, bro, I'll jam it on the way home," you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm really getting.
So
Hmm?
yeah, go ahead, man. You're really getting into what?
I was really getting into the contribution aspect of the music because like I uh I'm planning to I have two more albums I'm planning to drop this year, and
Yep.
after that I really want to start focusing on either writing like a play or like a movie screenplay or whatever they're called, or
Yes, TJ. Yeah, man.
so like that's the direction I'm going into, and I really want to be a part of people's growth and help them with the putting their projects together. Like, one of my favorite things is, as you'll see, I put together a lot of features quite a bit, but I feel like I have a good ear for what somebody will sound good on and who will collab well together, and that's what I want to be a part of a little bit too. More connection and expanding my, because I don't want to just keep recording albums. I want to record something special, um,
Yeah.
like a story, like a real ongoing story. So
Shoot a movie and
yeah,
record a soundtrack, man.
yeah, something
You know
like
what
that.
I mean? And then you know enough people too to bring back, even if it's not a soundtrack, the compilation, dude. Like
Yeah,
as a kid, there were just so many dope Bay Area compilations where it's like you look at the names on the front and it's like,
yeah,
fuck it, I'm buying like just by the numbers, I know there's gonna be some bangers on here.
yeah,
Even
exactly.
yeah. So like yeah, and that's dude, people are recording material all the time, and I do feel like we need tastemakers like that, TJ. Like, like radio DJs are not. It's the same 10 songs all fucking day, so it's like you're not even on a. It's very rare for somebody to crack through even on a mix show. You know what I mean? It's like most of the mix show is even chosen from the playlist at the station. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I quit listening to the radio years ago because I couldn't stand that. Couldn't stand.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I understand that for the artists that are on there, it feels like an achievement, and I can't hate on that, but it's just as a consumer and listener, it's like, "Fuck, dude. Play anything else, dude, like something, anything, like, not the same song again."
Yeah,
And yeah, man, like, that's why I like doing my podcast too, like, we try to keep it weed, but dude, there's just a lot of independent artists, filmmakers, all kinds of stuff that, aren't getting any burn or coverage in mainstream media, you know what I mean? And so, I try to keep it journalistic also, it's like, yeah, we're smoking and drinking, but we're trying to get stories from the people that we're interviewing, you know? So it's dope to have artists wanna do that and have so many, be able to take the time and understand that it's important, man, it's like a press run. It's like whatever station in your city is not gonna ask you to come up there and talk about the album, but we will, man. You know, like, we'll ask you all fucking day about it.
yeah,
Plug
yeah.
that shit all day. Um, so is that pretty current on the story more or less? Did you have more to go after that before you get to Ambivalence? Because that was gonna be my next question is about the current album that you're promoting right now.
Yeah, no, that's all caught up. Once I got back, I knocked this shit out in about 4 months. Um, and yeah, got it released, ready for this month. So, and here we are. Yeah.
No doubt, dude. So yeah, there's like my favorite song is The Joker. Like that's the one I was telling you. It sounds like it was sampled from Chunky Fire from Outkast or
Oh, that's
something.
the
But
one. Okay. Uh,
yeah.
yes, it
But
that.
dude, that Decoles or whatever, he's on that song too, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that track means a lot to me. And that's kind of where I want to start taking things after these next two albums is more of dialogue about shows or movies that, because I'm a huge movie guy, and like putting that song together, it was like interpreting the movie to me and like speaking as a part of, like, now I'm a part of it too, and I want to do more things like that. So
Yeah. I the Joker laugh out there too, dude. Ah,
uh,
ha, ha,
and
ha, 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 ha. Like
we had an
like
intro from we had an intro for it first when we first released it as a single, and I had a licensing issue and they made me take it down, so I had to remove the intro,
yeah.
and we snuck the
Was it from the Is from the new movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So it had more of an epic intro before, but it works. At least we got to keep the laugh.
Yeah, dude. It's like a clown on the economy, made me realize my life is a comedy. And then what are the bars after that? Can you say the bars after that? Do you know?
I realize my life is a comedy. Uh, everybody's.
Something about a mask. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. My bad.
I was just trying to think. Everybody's laughing. Take off the mask. Now it's time to take action.
Yeah, dude. Did you write that before all this shit happened, TJ?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was way before the.
Fuck. Hell yeah. When I was listening to that, I'm just like, yeah, man. It feels like it's right now, man. You know what I mean? So
No, there. Yeah,
very,
some
very
great channel barbs. That's for sure. On Better Days with C Ray, I fucking hit him up because he's got a fucking shit in there saying like they're trying to release the virus, and I was like, "You wrote this shit in November, bro," and he's like, "The universe writes my rhymes."
yeah, dude. I like that song too, man. So we can all see better days. Like he the song I did with On One on his newest album has C Ray on the hook, and I'm like, fuck, he's tight, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's a talent, man. He's a force to be reckoned with.
yeah. Does he have something new coming out, man? Can I bug him to come on the show sometime?
I would imagine he's always got something. He was gonna hit tour with Twisted Insane and Dickles and Z, and then this happened. So I'm sure that got rescheduled, and he just released an album called Roads, which is dope as fuck.
When did he put that out?
I want to say a month or 2 or 3 months ago.
Fuck, that's soon enough, man. I'm gonna hit him up, bro. I'm
Yeah,
bug him. Yeah, I'm a fan of his work too, and that's the other thing too is there's features on here, bro.
yeah,
There's not a shit ton of features.
yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean? And it's 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 almost like all eyes on me, bro. It's like perfectly, sprinkled with
yeah,
the homies and shit. Like,
yeah, yeah. I definitely had to. I think because it's 40 tracks, it doesn't look like it's too many, but it's like 16 or 17 songs that all have features on them, something like that.
yeah. And then like the stand-up comedian guy too, like that shit reminds me of Tool, bro. Like on the Enema album, I think it came out in 96, 97. They have Bill Hicks on there.
Oh, okay.
They have a couple of intros from him. He's a stand-up comedian. He passed away like the next year after that, I think. So
Yeah, that was a cool
it's
touch. I felt like um Dees Casillas, that's who did those. He I needed something to lighten the mood as the disc was going on. I was listening to it. I was like, there's a lot of dark vibes on this album, and as the tracks were coming up, they were getting even more dark. I was like, I need something to lighten the vibe right before I hit you with this um, depression again. So
yeah, dude. So like what did you have like themes for each disc too? Because it seemed like the first disc was kind of more positive than the second one a little bit.
it kind of just worked out that way. I spend way too many hours playing out my track list, trying to figure out how they should blend well together, and that's just what made sense to me was kind of leaning into the story, and then it started getting real dark, and then I needed to end it more of um, a little more uplifting, just because I wanted to take it into the next step. So
Yeah, dude. And then that's another song. Gotta look at it, man. Number 9 on disc 2. She fucked me up part 4.
yeah,
Yeah, dude. Like I was just like, oh man. Like like it's a good song, man, and it's about pain and bad shit that happened, and I just dig the honesty and the emotion. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not corny or cliche. It's like, fuck yeah. So I'm like, man, I got to listen to the first 3 parts of that song now. Like,
yeah.
I
No,
gotta, I gotta
that's
listen.
that's always the hope because I that's what I mean. I love the stories and I love how they can continue and onto a series. And I did She Fucked Me Up Part One, and it never got released at first. And then I released She Fucked Me Up Part Two, I think on Another Rose in the Concrete. That first mixtape I put out here, and then I did I released part one on Unwatered Seeds, which was a follow up mixtape that had like all my unreleased stuff that didn't make the first two cuts. And then I put part three on Drinking Dry Water, and part five will be on one of the next albums. So,
No doubt, dude. So, that's my one critique, dude, and you can call me an asshole, is I don't have credits for production or like, did you record everything at your house for this album?
no, I,
Like that's the other thing too, is like, fuck, I like because if you can hear a little bit of difference sometimes, and I'm like, man, if he recorded it at that studio and I really like it, then if I
yeah,
have the opportunity to fucking book a couple hours there, and I'm just like, nah, man, TJ did that song and it was tight.
yeah, no, yeah, I dropped the ball on that. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna do physicals, and when I did, I was determined to do the whole layout myself, and I was kind of rushed. I'm a my mind's all fucked up. So like at 2 or 3 in the morning is when I'll be like, oh, I got to get this done now. I got to do it now. There's no
Same.
time. And so I started playing with the layout, and was like, oh, it fits, it works. And I submitted it for distribution. I was like, okay. And then I realized, oh man, I could have used so much more space on the inside of this wallet, so much more,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
completely dropped it. But shout out Moses Beats. He did 99% of the recording and mixing, um, and then on one did a couple. Um, on one did a couple of the beats, um, but Moses took care of the majority of the project.
No doubt. Shout out to Moses Beats, man. Cause I am impressed, man. I'm like, it 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 bump because I don't have a fucking good system in my car, bro. It's some stock shit on a '08 Accord, you know. So, but it bumps like it should in my car, according to, because I have you and I have Pussifer in my CD changer, so I don't have to turn shit up or down when it changes in between discs. You know what I mean? And that's usually the main quality criteria as far as recording for me on any underground or Northwest artist, is like, dude, at
Yeah,
least get it to where, it's mastered to where it sounds like everything else, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, because most of the time it's too low and you have to turn it up fucking at least a 10 to hear anything. And it's like, dude, it,
yeah, and
it
I had that issue on a couple that weren't recorded at Mo's house, but he was able to fix them up for me.
yeah, that's Tyrant would always bitch at me for shit like that too. Like, should just record this here. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't have time, dude. Like, fuck. Did the best I could. Sorry.
Yeah,
Save it, please.
yeah,
Save it. So, as far as this album, you say you have two more that, like, dude, I saw you post like a week ago that you snuck an EP by too. Like,
yeah,
what's that one called, man? I wanted to give that some airplay too on here because I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, yeah. That was another 3 in the morning decision. I, I had a
Dope.
quite a bit of songs from when I was in Wisconsin working with that label, and I was like, you know what, uh, fuck them. These are my songs,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
they haven't been on anything. So they're all from 2007, with the exception of the last track, which is kind of a fun little goofy song we did at Moses Beats spot a few years back, called "Handy on the Dance Floor." um,
No doubt.
but
Sounds like Swifty.
and all the rest of them are just, yeah, 2007. There's a whole different vibe in my voice, my tone, my what I'm talking about. But I was like, I want them out there, you know. So it's called "Trashing the Truth," little 8-track EP.
No doubt. Trashing the truth. Okay, that's tight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're hearing this right now, go check that out. It's on iTunes right now and then everywhere else later.
It's on Spotify now. It should be everywhere by now. It
So
should be.
can I ask you a technical question about your distro?
Yeah, you could try. Yeah.
Well, it's like if you put it out on iTunes first, does that mean you submit it to iTunes on your own, like ahead of time, and they okay it?
No, so I do mine through CD Baby.
So
Um,
do I, bro. So do I. I try to tell everyone to do that.
and On One's the one who put me onto them. I used to do something else where I had to pay a yearly fee, And then
That's the same thing, TuneCore, man. I'm like, they charge you every year.
when I found this out, I was like, oh man, this is perfect. So yeah, I just submit to them, and then whichever distributor can get it out first does it. So
Word. Yeah, man, same thing. There's like I'm Nez Perce, right? I grew up on my res out in Idaho. That's where my bros Jesse and Mitch are broadcasting from. We got a powwow group in our family and our bros. They're called Lightning Creek, so they do powwow music.
mm,
And I put out their album in 2013. Also, it was the same year that I put out Petrelli, and so it's like it exhausted all my resources just trying to get both of those out with graphics and distro and everything. So the I made the mistake of putting it out through TuneCore,
mm,
and it's like on the contract with those guys, it's like they get all the physical sales. I just get online distro is all I wanted. So back then, streaming just wasn't what it is now. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I it only made like 150 bucks in the first year. So the second year, I had to kick down either 50 more bucks or yank it. And I was like, I yanked it and I wanna it's been a couple years, so it's like it should be cleared out of their system, but I wanna submit it through CD Baby again.
yeah,
Like Tyrant remixed it too, like and that's exactly what I was talking about like 5 minutes ago, like, when he Tyrant mixed that the first time, dude, when I listened to it on Spotify, it's you have to turn it all the way up, and it's still not loud enough, you know? And it's like, "Fuck, man." So, he remixed everything, like, a year ago, so, that's if Lightning Creek is listening, I'm gonna put it back out, fellas. Put it through CD Baby. And
oh
and
yeah,
and and any independent artist too listening, you heard it from TJ, and you heard it from me. CD Baby, you know, the one-time fee, the analytics are dope, it gets it everywhere that you wanna be, and you can
yeah,
share links from wherever you want, you know?
yeah. Super user friendly.
Yeah, and that's I like the analytics, bro, it lets me know which cities are really listening to my shit too, you
Yeah, that was
know?
a game changer for me. I was like, my top cities. I of course thought my top city would be my hometown, but it's not even close. It's not even,
Yeah, same, not even close,
yeah.
bro.
And it helps when you do like a sponsored ad somewhere else, because then you know where to promote to and what areas to go for.
Could I get a little bit more vodka, baby? But yeah, I same. Like I really was trying to focus on trying to book some dates for touring this year also because I have material ready to put out and that's how I'm trying to target places too. Is like the top 10 on analytics as far as plays. I don't care how small the bar is. It's like I can try and target those people through advertising and
Yeah,
and hopefully they'll come out and watch me do my show, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, um what do you We dude, can you go over an hour, TJ, a little bit? Is that okay, man? We got like
Um,
12 minutes left.
yeah,
Okay,
definitely no problem.
one of my this is a cookie cutter question I try to ask to most of the entrepreneurs, cannabis people, whoever who come on the show is it's a two-sided question. So first side of the coin is what do you feel has been the your best move on the path to where you're at right now? What's been your best move, your smartest move?
Stepping away for a little while and observing and figuring out who I actually was not based on just um, whatever I had thought I was on track for. You know, once you move off of a path you've been on for so long and you can actually see that life goes on without you there, and then you figure out what your real purpose is, I think that's what really changed my life in every direction.
Word. No doubt. That's deep, TJ. That's deep, man. Okay. Yeah, man. For real. I can dig it. Like I want to talk to you in person too. Like, like there's some shit I just don't want to talk on the podcast. But yeah, dude, I dig the fatherhood shit you got on your music too, man. So
Thank you.
yeah. And so the other side of that coin and that question is what do you feel has been your biggest mistake? Like what was your biggest fuck up? You know what I mean? Because everybody likes to talk about the wins, man, you know, and that's fun. It's like, yeah, it makes for a good interview, but there's a whole bunch of L's, dude. And if you want to only share one, then cool. If you want to share a couple, because I feel like it's relevant to kids listening too. If they are, it's
Yeah.
like, man, I didn't do this when I should have done that before I did this, and then it would have fucking been okay, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I've had my fair share of mistakes. That's for sure. I know one of my biggest mistakes I made was feeling like I made it before I really did, and kind of allowing that ego to take over, to feel like I was somehow uh, not expendable. And
Yeah,
you know, when I once you let the ego take over and your pride take over, it was just a roller coaster of a mess for me. And also a big one for me was trusting everybody too fast. It was um,
yeah,
it was just thinking that everybody had as good of intentions as I did, and
yep,
that's how I got hurt a lot. That's how I lost a lot of money. Um, that's what hindered my progress, because then I felt betrayed. So I just didn't trust anybody, even the good ones. So that's a big one too. Take your time and be patient. Figure out people's motives.
yeah, no doubt, man. I agree, and that's same, dude. Like I fucking like sticking to myself because it's like I this is what I want to do, and it's like when I talk to homies, even I'm like, yeah, we can hang out, but dude, can we work on something? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I was like, you're such a fucking sociopath, John. You know, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. I like hanging out and talking. Like that's why I want to do the fight podcast because that's like the
yeah,
same thing at the same time. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
but it just I would like I want to work on some shit. Like man,
yeah,
even if a homie paints or draws, it's like, dude, let's fucking sit here and brainstorm, storyboard around. Like, and he's like, I don't want to stare at a screen next to somebody who's creative like I am. It's like, dude, like we're here in the same place. Let's make something, you know?
yeah, yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah, and so, any of the homies listening who are offended by my fucking modus operandi, I apologize, but it's like, fuck, that's I wanna create some content, man, even if it's not for online, like, shit, let's make some fucking soil and plant some flowers, man, like, well, I don't care, like, I have one guy that I went to college with at Wazoo up here, his name is, Sean Brigman, and he makes canoes.
Oh,
Like, he
okay.
makes sturgeon nose canoes and cedar canoes, and he's my friend online. I'm like, "Bro, if you need a goon or you need an extra body, like, hit me up, like, I wanna come try that shit," you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I can swing an axe or a fucking like, fucking chip out some fucking cedar or whatever, I don't care, man.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's making your moves worth it and making the best of your time and being productive.
So, yeah. So, can I ask, about your process now? Like, do you record at the crib? Like, how do you ever cook live with Moses? Like, what do you prefer, but also what is most feasible and efficient, dude? Because I remember talking to you about that on Wednesday, you know, like, studio time is expensive, so if you can, you know, capture those vocals on your own, but also it's fun to be in the same place at the same time, you know?
Yeah, my preferred vibe is always being locked in a studio with somebody, with the beat playing and just bouncing ideas off of each other. Um, Now that I don't have the studio at my house like I used to, I try to get all my writing done, which is never really a big issue for me. So I'll just write, and I like to come to the studio ready to go and bang out, you know, 2 songs in an hour, and you know, keep them moving. But I hate stopping. You know, I so if I didn't have like a lot of the producers I used to work with when I was real constant in the game was, you know, zero restrictions, and I'd be in there for 8 to 12 hours sometimes, to the point where they're falling asleep. They're like, "We got to pick this up tomorrow," and I was like, "Okay," and I was pissed because I was like, "No, we got to do it now. We got
Yeah.
to."
Drink a Mountain Dew, fucker.
Yeah. So,
Goddamn right, TJ. Yeah.
but yeah,
So
so I've definitely had to learn some patience, and it's not easy because I'm sitting on two almost completed written projects right now, and it's driving me crazy that they're not recorded and released already. I just don't like sitting on material.
Same, dude. Like, and I gotta be honest, like that's one thing I respect also, dude, is you have this much material to put out a double disc. I went to Phoenix with the idea of trying to heal myself from the bullshit I just went through and trying to make music and put it out and like write a whole album, right? And in the time I was there, it's like I got 10 songs done and I was trying to scramble to get everything together for an album and I can't get my session player on the same page as me cuz he has his own band that he's working on, so I can't knock his hustle, you know, he's doing what makes him happy and
Yeah,
it's like I have to I'm dependent on other people, so I have to also be patient, TJ, and just sit and wait. And it just the more I pay attention, we got Josh Zito on the show on June 7th. So if you can tune in for that, he's a rapper from Portland, also an actor. But I've been seeing him just drop singles like
uh,
3 or 4 per year the past few years, and it's just like people are listening to him. He's shooting
yeah,
videos for him, and it's like it requires less effort and resources. You know what I mean? And I'm just coming to grips with telling myself that, "Dude, you're just gonna put out some singles this year, John.
yeah,
You're not gonna put out a lot, like, deal with it, fucker," you know, and
yeah,
I have conversations with myself, you know, I don't know if you're the same way, you can call me crazy, but it is, it's like, fuck, and it's the less strenuous, resource expensive way to do it, John, so, you know, you just shoot a video for it and because that in itself too, shooting a video is kinda tough, bro. It's like you gotta get
yeah,
more than one person to show up and dress a certain way, and this guy hold the camera, this other here hold this, you know, like
yeah, yeah. It's videos are tough, and that's where it's at. Um,
yeah,
I'm sitting in my garage right now, but it's like this is my safe space. This is where I shot my first video. Was in my garage, so it was like trying to find the right filmographer. What are they called? Videographer and like somebody that's not going to make it look corny and get the
yeah,
story out right. And then if you need other people, you got to find people that can be on your schedule and shit. It's tough.
yeah. That's one thing I wanted to tell you too, TJ, is if you need somebody to play a white guy or an Albanian guy or an Asian guy or, you know, like I'm ethnically ambiguous as far as the camera goes,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
So yeah, like I'll do whatever, bro. I'll dress up and get the accent and all that shit, bro. So
All right.
anytime, and I'll do it for free, bro. Because I really the acting shit to me is fucking fun, bro. Like I love the music shit, but the short film I did with Ryan Craig, dude, I
Yeah.
was high off it for 2 weeks. I was high, bro. Like literally, like fuck, all right.
Yes. That's
And
I've
then
always
it's like
that's
back
dope.
to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
I always look to music as acting. Um, like even though I'm telling my true story or the artist, whoever I have featured on, is telling their version of their story. It's like if I write a song about my child almost dying, and then I have to
yeah,
record it.
that shit's deep, bro.
But if I have to record it, years later, I have to get into an acting mind state of getting back into that character of remembering what those words are supposed to portray. And that's I've always been drawn to acting because it's like, yeah, if I write all these heartbreaking songs, I have to record them as a heartbreaking perspective. I can't just spit them out like I'm partying or trying to get a job done. It's like I have to get into character and get back into what that feeling was.
No doubt, dude. For real. And that's yeah, I don't want to ask too much about those songs on the show because I'm gonna be all teary eyed and shit. But when I hang out and drink a beer with you, man, I'm gonna ask about that shit and the stuff about your pop and everything too. Because yeah, it just it's real emotion, dude, and that's why I listen to music.
Yeah,
You know, like it makes me feel a certain way when I listen to it, and a lot of the therapeutic aspect is hearing other artists express similar things that you go through that, you know, like they're expressing that they feel the same way as you as far as the vocalization of these emotions. So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I dig that shit a lot. And also like man, Northwest, dude, like it's good to stand behind something that's good. Cause like, online, I'll click like and share on anything that's an independent artist that slides down my feed just cause I know how tough it is to get any kinda
Yeah,
you know, be seen or heard, you know, and especially because sometimes you see those sponsored posts, right? And it's some weird techno fucker or something I don't really listen to, you know, but it's like he paid the dollars for Facebook to run his ad and he reached me as another musician, so I'm gonna click like and share,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, and that's what we need more of. It's tough because um, it's so many. That's where I left the game was in 2014. It was such a competition rather than support system, and
Yes.
it was just like. And then the big fucking thing. I don't know if we were supposed to cuss on here.
Cuss all you want, TJ. Cuss
But
all you
yeah,
want. If yeah, if PBS fucking syndicates us, we'll edit that shit. We'll beep it out.
um, but big thing before that we were dealing with was the constant promotion to other artists rather than the fans. And it was like, stop trying to sell
Yes.
music to other artists and get to the fans. And everybody was always trying to get other rappers to share their shit. And it's like, don't worry about that right now. Worry about the people who are going to pay for it, the people who actually want to come purchase a ticket to your show. Um, and that's the hard thing too. Now that it's social media and now this social distance thing, it's like, how am I supposed to
Yeah.
meet new people? I just got back
Yeah.
on Facebook at the end of last year, and I'm just like, okay, I need y'all to share something because there's no other way to get my music out now.
No doubt, TJ. Like that's the main thing I like with the I'm trying to do the podcast for too, because for the cannabis industry, there's no coverage, bro. You get like a quote from some asshole who fucking has no experience on the ground in the news article, you know what I mean? And that's what bothered me at first. I wanted to cover people and their companies, but it's the same thing with the music, dude. It's like we're shooting for a cannabis demographic, but we're also gonna shoot for entertainment now. And it is like, dude, I hope that there's people who haven't heard your music before who hear this podcast and go and check it out afterwards.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because and I hope that there's people who have heard your music but haven't heard my podcast and see me share something or you share something and they come and check us out and be like, "Hey man, this is cool." They have other interviews with other guys and
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
you know, like that's the whole point of, like, doing a feature or an interview. It's like, man, we gotta share and promote, and I dig this part because I get to like, yeah, I got my character and I talk a certain way when I'm on the mic, but it's not me who's the focus of the show unless we can't get a fucking interview that week, but
Yeah,
it's mainly I'm trying to get stories from other people, and it feels good to try and get that from other folks because fuck, trying to generate that all the time as an artist is tough, and being a journalist is a lot
yeah,
of fun, dude. Like, I enjoy this shit a lot, like, ask it because I have some similar experiences, but totally not the same. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Everybody is their own human on Earth, and it's cool to hear them talk about it, dude, like
Yeah, and these are dope, man. I remember I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for it because years and years ago, on wanted to start a podcast together. And I was like, what the fuck is a podcast? And he's explaining to me. I was like, that sounds like it's for nerds. Like, what the fuck? No, like I don't want to do
yeah,
that shit. And look at it now. I'm like, this like podcast.
yeah,
Now I listen to them constantly. I'm like, these are
yeah,
dope. And he's like, I told you. I'm like, shit.
yeah. It is, dude, 'cause it's, yeah, just comparing it to like, if you read an article on the newspaper, right, or the newspaper website,
Mm,
you get whatever that writer chose to write
yeah,
as far as the narrative for the story, and then you only get 2 or 3 quotes from the person who actually told the story, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And it's like, this eliminates all that bullshit. Like, I can't misquote anything that you said, TJ. I can be like, "Yo, he said 'fuck this guy' because he didn't." It's like, no, he didn't say that, you know what I mean? It's like he said, like, it's dope, and I'm not trying to DJ Vlad you or anything, TJ, but, just just principally speaking, you know what I mean? It's like it allows for a whole lot of truth in storytelling, and I dig that a lot.
Yeah, and I love that. It's great. It's like, and this is the third different kind I've done now. I did one that was video and audio in person, and then I did one that was strictly audio in person, and now this one that's audio and video, but not in person. I love it. It's cool to see the differences and how they can be done and the different groups they reach. I love it. I really appreciate you
Yeah,
having.
no doubt, man. Thanks for coming on the show. And I gotta give a shout out to Mitchell too, because he explained to me the logistics. Because I was in Phoenix. Those guys are on my res in Idaho, and then our guest could be from Oregon or the East Coast, Connecticut or Massachusetts, and it was difficult to coordinate schedules, and dude, since I've been out here, it's just been a lot easier to coordinate and line everybody up, and
Yeah,
it's like, dude, all you gotta do is you can download this app on your phone or your computer, and it's free, or you can just call,
yeah,
and it's been pretty easy to present that to people that 'cause I don't wanna nag folks or make it fucking I don't want you to click 50 times to figure out how to fucking "Is it working?" You know, like, it just I feel like it's been going okay, and, I really thank you for taking the time and just, dude, giving us honest answers and, for real, helping us create our content, dude, so,
yeah. I'm all
yeah.
about truth. It's all about truth.
Yeah, yeah, true justice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry for keep saying TJ, man, but, like, it's true justice, ladies and gentlemen, true justice. Google true justice, search that on Spotify. That's the artist that I'm interviewing, and we're getting the human side of that, so thanks for listening to Concerned Dad's podcast. I guess, we should probably try and wrap in a little bit. I think Mitch and Jess gotta head home in a few, so, is there any I know we talked about, co-promotion, but I asked this cookie cutter question at the end. Are there any sort of ideas or concepts that you're trying to promote for the future? True Justice.
Uh, Gosh, nothing solid right now. I'm really getting back into everything, so really just trying to branch back into things and know that my know figure out my place back into it because I know a lot of the guys that have been doing this for years. I can't just run up and be like I'm back, move aside. So
Y
I'm trying to integrate my way back in and figure out where I want to go. And like I said, I'm going to do these next two albums, and then I want to work on a book and a movie and like a play. I really do. So me and On One will hopefully have this podcast up and run with Big P here soon. We're not releasing the name of it yet, but hopefully that'll be up and running soon, and just getting things going.
no doubt, dude. Um, also, um, so the podcast, you're not gonna promote that yet, but the next album name, do you have that title yet that you can give a preview of?
Yeah, absolutely. The one of them is called Veritas Equitas, Latin for true justice, and then the other one is called A Moment of Truth, which my son actually named. I'm
Nice.
to release both of those in fall on the same day in October, hopefully.
Okay, cool. And then can you also drop your social media?
Yeah, Facebook is George Flopez, just like Lopez, but with the F in front of the Flopez 509. Twitter is Han Cholo 509, and Instagram is George Flopez.
Yes. All right, dude. And is there anything else you want to add, True Justice, before we do my outro dance?
No, I don't think so, man. I really just appreciate you having me on, and wish you all the best, man.
Yeah, man. Same, dude. Same. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'm going to do my outro dance. This was the 57th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I was your host, Katie M. Kane. Our guest tonight was TJ Regalado, aka Han Cholo, aka George Flopez, better known as True Justice, with his new album Ambivalence available now on all streaming platforms. I got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry,